Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devam sarasvatim vyasam Tato jayam udiraya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 7, Indra offends Brihaspati. It's nice, right? Indra offends Brihaspati. Text number 22. Tashyayam anayasyasit. Tashyayam anayasyasit. Parebhyo va parabhava Parebhyo va parabhava Prakshinebhyas vairayebhaya Prakshinebhyas vairayebhaya Samridanam chayatsuraha Samridanam chayatsuraha Tashyayam manayayaset Parebhyo va parabhavaha Prakshinebhyas vairayebhyaha Samriddhanam chayatsuraha Boliye Tashyayam manayayasit Parebhyo va parabhavaha Prakshinebhyas vairayebhyaha Samriddhanam chayatsuraha Tashyayam manayayasit Parebhyo va parabhavaha Prakshinebhyas vairayebhyaha Samriddhanam chayatsuraha Tashyayam manayayasit Parebhyo va parabhavaha Prakshinebhyas vairayebhyaha Samriddhanam chayatsuraha. Ladies, Mataji's. Ladies. Tashyayam manayayasit Parebhyo va parabhavaha Vairayam Samriddhanam chayatsuraha. Tashyayam manayasyasit Parebhyo va parabhavaha Prakshinebhyas vairayebhyaha Samriddhanam chayatsuraha. Tasya that I am this aniyasya, of your ungrateful activities. Asit, was, parebhyaha, by others, vaha, of all of you, parabhavaha, the defeat, prakshinebhyaha, although they were weak, svavairibhyaha, by your own enemies who were previously defeated by you. Samrid, danam, being yourselves very opulent. Cha, and yat, which, suraha, O demigods. Tashyayam aniyas yasit parebhyo va parabhavaha prakshinebhyas varaibhyavaha samridanam chayat suraha. Because of your misbehavior toward Brihaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? Please repeat. Because of your misbehavior toward Brihaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? Okay, so Prabhupada's purport. The Devas are celebrated for fighting with the Asuras perpetually. In such fights, the Asuras were always defeated. But this time, the demigods were defeated. Why? The reason, as stated here, was that they had offended their spiritual master. Their impudent disrespect of their spiritual master was the cause of their defeat by the demons. As stated in the Shastras, when one disrespects a superior person, one loses his longevity and the results of his pious activities. In this way, one is degraded. Jai. So Prabhupada ki. Jai. So this is a very, very great challenge, trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. We've been discussing Radhika Raman, our good disciple from Oxford. He said sometimes they would bring one professor, Dr. Narsingha Rao from University of Madras, to come and teach at Oxford. Oxford University would bring him there. And he's very respected, so it's the word, emeritus professor at the university there. And of course, very respected by Oxford. And so one time they brought him to teach Srimad Bhagavatam in Oxford University. And Radhika was part of that class program, maybe like 8, 10 graduate students. It's a very nice program, a very personal relationship. Somebody will come in, maybe lecture for 2 weeks, then he'll give a paper, 2 papers to be written. It's a very tight relationship. And Radhika said one day after the class, Professor Rao said, "Ravi, please stay for a second." He said, "I know you're actually a devotee, and studying Srimad Bhagavatam." And he said, "I've read all of the major Sanskrit literature and most of the minor literature." And he said, "I'm not being proud. I've been doing this for 50 years, and so, I should have done this, So he said, when it's described that the different Puranas are like stars in the sky, so beautiful, so brilliant, so proud, until the moon of Srimad Bhagavatam comes up. It's not an exaggeration. He said, for the beauty of the poetry, for the depth of the philosophy, and for the sophistication of the grammar, Srimad Bhagavatam is in a class by itself. There's just nothing else like it. So on. And he said, as he was saying this, he was actually having tears coming to his eyes, appreciating the Bhagavatam. One time, our good friend Samaresh Bandopajay, we were with him, and he gave us one recent scholarly work, and the person was an atheist. He believed that everything was created from atoms and molecules by chance, right? The whole world has been created by chance, somehow or other, by natural selection. So that was his position. But he was also an Indian fellow. And so by chance and natural selection, the atoms and molecules became one-celled animals, multi-celled animals, frogs? Keep going here. What have we got? Dinosaurs, chimpanzees, okay? Software engineers, like that. Keeps on going up, yeah. And finally they became human beings. Then the human beings started to produce culture, and different things were created. And so in his opinion, the highest product of evolution was the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai, Haribol. Evolutionary process ki jai. Yeah. So this is very difficult. We're trying to do very difficult to try and understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, there's something like 81 prominent commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. Many people commenting. Who do we take as the first commentator? Sridhar Swami. But Madhvacharya also has commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's before Sridhar Swami. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Because Madhvacharya doesn't comment on the entire Bhagavatam. He just takes certain parts like that. So the first full commentary is Sridhar Swami, like that. But other than that, there are 81 prominent commentaries, very strong commentaries like that. Most of the Puranas don't have commentaries, right? Most of them. The biggest number of commentaries after Srimad Bhagavatam, I think, is the Skanda Purana, with 17 commentaries, which is the difference. 81 commentaries and dropping to the second place due to 17, like that. So begin to appreciate, what a glorious work Srimad Bhagavatam is. What is it then? For example, he's describing that when the four Kumaras, they want to go meet Sriman Narayan. They're there at the beginning of the universe. There's not much else. There's no fish, dogs, cats, anything else, just a few people. And the four Kumaras, they're born from Lord Brahma's heart, and they're trying to figure out what is reality, what is the absolute truth. Does everything come from atoms and molecules? Does everything come from the impersonal Brahman? Actually, is there nothing really, somehow or other? There is nothing, but right now we're all convinced there is something, right? This is Buddhism, nihilism. Actually, there's nothing, right? You agree? I was trying to understand Buddhism, and then I finally read, Prabhupada says, this philosophy is incomprehensible. Okay, all right. There are many branches of Buddhism. Of course, some Buddhism is theistic. What's his name? Can't remember the name right now. Avalokiteshvara? Yeah. But anyway, many different philosophies about what is reality. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says that the material world is like a gigantic ocean, big ocean. If you have to cross the ocean, that's difficult enough. It's an ocean of illusion, an ocean of ignorance. First you try this, then you try that. One of my friends, devotee, his father had divorced his mother, this is America, and after that he had married one other woman and lived with 3 others. And so he told me that he was with his father. They were both lawyers. So after the law, the day's law work, his father confessed to him, he said, "You know, Tom, I think I finally met the right girl." Right? He's been married to 2 women and lived with 3 of them, and still he doesn't think that maybe it's not just the right girl. There's something else has to be done here. So this is the material world. How many illusions does Maya have? 25 tricks? 200? Maya has an unlimited number of material varieties, right? But every single one of them is temporary. Every one of Maya's illusions, attractions, fame, prestige, honor, is temporary. But she just has an unlimited number of them. Well, as soon as I finish this one, then I'll be finished. Well, do you think about this? I didn't think about that, yeah. So this is the material world, right? Material world, yeah. And you've got to cross over this to get out of that, okay? And to make it even more ridiculous, in the material world, there are great, powerful philosophers like Jaimini, Astavakra, who else we got? Kanada, Anishwara Kapila, presenting these powerful philosophies. Chaitanya Charitamrita says they're like great ocean-going crocodiles. There are crocodiles in the ocean, you know. Do you know how big they are? If his tail is here, his nose is touching the thing over there, right? Yeah. I'm in my little boat, you know, row, row, row your boat. It's like, I guess it'd be kind of like, I don't know, something like, you know, pakora, one pakora, like that and so on. Yeah, and so you've got to cross the ocean of the absolute, cross the ocean of ignorance. Then along with that, you have all these great going philosophers like Jaimini and all these people who are out to get you, like that and so on. What to speak of us, these people swallow up entire empires, right? What is the predominant philosophy right now? That what is the world, what is matter, what are we, what is success? What is the predominant philosophy right now? Charvaka? Yeah, hedonism. Yeah, he's not one of the, he's kind of a limited guy. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, Kanada. What was Kanada's philosophy? You're all great philosophers here. Saddarsha. Kanada. Paramanuvad. He said everything is made of atoms. Anu. And by a combination of atoms, we're here. Right? So it goes from there to Greece, to like Democritus and people like that. And they have the same idea. Then it goes to Europe, and then we have so many people like Einstein, Fermi, and they're all accepting that everything is made of atoms. Right? Right? You agree? No? You don't think so, huh? Yeah. But we can show so many things. I can take a big weather balloon right here. If I take a weather balloon and I fill it full of 2 molecular parts of hydrogen and two molecular parts of oxygen, and I take a little match, what happens? I get a chest-thumping explosion. And water! Yeah, I can make atom bombs, I can produce birth control pills, I can do surgery, I can send my voice thousands of miles away, all because of science. What can you do? I can sing a song. Yeah. So there's a lot of competition, you know. In the Ramanuja Sampradaya, it describes what it means to be a Sampradaya Acharya. You know, Mahatma Das one time gave a class in Los Angeles in the evening. I was there, other sannyasis, GBC people, and it became a very, very famous class because he took this description from the Ramanuja Sampradaya, what it means to be a founder Acharya, maybe 7 qualifications, and Prabhupada matched every single one of them. And I just remember 2 of them. One was he has to synthesize all the knowledge given by the previous acharyas and present it in such a way that nobody has to go beyond him. And Prabhupada did that. If you go to Prabhupada's books, everything is there. You find something new to read from Bhaktivinoda Thakur and you start going through it and you say, well, this is in Prabhupada's books. It's like that. Yeah. So Prabhupada did that. And the other thing is, he has to defeat every philosophy opposed to Vaishnavism present at his time. Did Prabhupada do that? Yeah. I was talking to Tamal Krishna Maharaj about this science program. I was working with Swarup Damodar Maharaj in the Bhaktivedanta Institute. And I was wondering about how important it was, so I investigated. I talked to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and if the science preaching was really that important, and he looked at me, if you know Tamal Krishna Maharaj with his, laser vision, he said, Prabhupada said over and over again for his entire last year that scientific preaching is my most important preaching program. Like that. That was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. You got the message across, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But he also said, Prabhupada said also, whether you preach or not, science's prestige is going to diminish because they can't produce anything new, like that and so on. So this is our position. We're trying to understand how to get out of this illusion, this mess, right? Anybody here out of the mess? Anybody else completely liberated, like that? That's the first problem, right? Liberation, Then after that, after you're liberated, then you have to figure out what to do, right? What happened? You go to prison, you steal an automobile, or you're just in computer stuff. You're in jail for 5 years, One of our devotees, Chandradas, he's a psychologist in the Snake River maximum security prison. To get in there, you either have to rape somebody or murder somebody. These are the two qualifications to get into the place. And we would go there and do these do programs, maybe like about 1,000 prisoners, and maybe about 65 of them would come to our kirtan programs and stuff, and chanting on beads, reading Bhagavad-Gita. And I was there with them, and most of them are big. It was strange, And suddenly I was realizing, wow, everybody here has either murdered somebody or raped somebody. It's like kind of frightening. Just look around you now and think, okay, everybody here is either a murderer or a rapist. It's like no. What if they turn on me? And they're all big guys too. So yeah. But they were all chanting Hare Krishna. So Chandradas was talking about the facility there. It's very interesting, because one of the prisoners, he said we're in a better position than the people outside because we know we're in jail, right? And the people outside think that they can do whatever they want to do. Another interesting thing, we went to see the chaplain, and he had this incredible library. It was about this big. Every single religious society, every single yoga society had their full set of books there. All of Prabhupada's books were there, all of Yogananda's books were there, and they all arranged like that. And so we're talking to the chaplain, and he said it's kind of interesting because here the government, gives us support to try and teach these people, to get them to take the books, to read them, that kind of stuff. He said, but if you go outside and you try to go to any school in America and try and teach religion, forget it, buddy. You can't teach that here. So he said somebody had asked him a couple days before, one of his friends. He said, "Chaplain, where should I go to find God?" He said he was thinking for a second. We said, "Well, probably you should go to prison, right? You should probably go to prison if you want to find God." Yeah, this is the modern world. So anyway, but another thing is, finally, when you get out of prison, if you take your 5 years, you've done your job, done your austerities, they take you to some bus stop. They give you like $40 and a bus ticket to any place in America, and they say goodbye. Okay, so what are you going to do? Yeah, after you get liberation, what do? Right? You go back in Maya. You don't know what to do. We have to get positive actual engagement in devotional service, right? It's not enough just to get out of the material world. Sayukta mukti, sayuja mukti. It's not enough. It's liberation. We have to get devotional service. Yeah. So this is the job of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first two cantos are, Krishna's lotus feet, like that and so on. And 2.2.12, it says you shouldn't go beyond the first two cantos unless you can follow the four principles, right? Other cantos are more advanced, they're more intense, and so on. So this is already the 7th canto. We've been organizing these Bhakti Vaibhava programs in San Francisco, Texas, other places like that, studying them, because Prabhupada wanted this. He wanted to have Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, progressive study. You can make it just a gyan process, a logical process, but it should go beyond that. You can read the book and just karma, just read it, Then you can understand it logically, like we're doing now. Okay, and gyan. And next is actually you can contemplate it, right? Maybe you won't go so fast. Maybe you'll take time. Jai, Shrimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gauratai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah. So you can actually contemplate the Bhagavatam, right? Take it to heart. What does that mean? Shravanam? Kirtanam? Yeah, Prabhupada says if you perfect Shravanam, then you can start to talk properly. And if you perfect Kirtanam, then you can go to Smaranam, meditation, contemplation, like that. And if you perfect Smaranam, no more Punar Janma. Yeah? Yeah. But we have to come to this process, right? A parrot can chant Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Yeah? A parrot can chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Yeah. What does he say at the time of death? Cat! Prabhupada says that, cat. Of course, if he's an Indian parrot, he would say Billy, Billy! Okay, like that. Or Spanish parrot, gato! Yeah. So what are we actually going to think of at the time of death? Are we actually going to think of Krishna? Or in what way are we going to think of Krishna? There are two thieves by the side of the road, two dacoit guys, right? And they got a bottle of wine, they're sitting there drinking it, always harassing people. And the Vaishnavas go by chanting, Radhe, 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 Radhe. And one of these dacoit guys says to the other, I like very much when the Vaishnavas go by chanting Radhe, Radhe. And the other guy says, why is that? You're not a religious man. He says, because the barber's wife is named Radhe. Yes. And I'm always thinking when I can have a little time with her, So what are you meaning when you chant? Right? We're doing 16 rounds a day, but what quality? How much? Okay, I ask a question here. When you're chanting your 16 rounds, is your mind focused on the mantra 100% of the time? Raise your hand there. Okay. Raise your hand if you think your mind is focused on the mantra 75% of the time. It's kind of coming up here. We got two people, okay. Is your mind is focused on the mantra 50% of the time? A little more. If your mind is focused on the mantra 10% of the time. Okay. yeah, okay. That's a lot. If you say one holy name once a day, we're not joking. This is a big benefit. Big benefit. When people die, when there's something happens, they fall off a building or something happens, sometimes they say, the name of God. So you hit your finger, right, with a hammer, you're going away. Some people will say, oh, God damn it, right? Yeah, something. Many times you'll say the name of God, or else you'll refer to some biological function of the body, the lower part of the body, two biological functions of the lower part of the body. Yeah. Actually, we were mountain climbing one time. You use these ropes, and we were talking to one of these people. They go up the mountains, they pound in the pitons, they keep going up the rope. And when you go down, you just kind of push off, you rappel. You go down the rope, you go it out, and you get like that. Somehow or other, one guy was with a friend of his, and the ropes were 50 feet long, and they miscalculated. They put 2 ropes on, and they needed 3. Right? So the guy went right off the end of the rope into a 50-foot drop and killed himself. And the last word he said was, oh, one of the lower bodily functions like that. That was the last thing he said as he went off the rope like that. Oh, yeah. So what are you going to think at the time of death? What is our japa producing? What is the quality? What is our quality of reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam takes the Maha Mantra and unpacks it, right? Gives you a chance to look at it with stories and people like that. And here we have a very interesting story, which to me, I was trying to understand this, is kind of incomprehensible in some ways. The Bhagavatam is going higher and higher. In the first 2 cantos, a lot of times you'll find at Hoksaja, names like this, Vasudev. It's not so much Krishna. It's still coming out of the Upanishads. It's still talking about he who lives everywhere, he who gives liberation, he who is, Achyuta, like that. Yeah. What is, in the first 2 cantos, what is the most Rasa chapter, you think? Where does it talk about Krishna in the most elevated sense? Huh? He's nominating the prayers of Queen Kunti. How does she start off? Yeah? Okay, so she's talking about him as Ishvaram Prakrite Param, the supreme controller of the material world. Is that a lot of Ras? Not much. Yeah, okay. And she goes through everything. That's the whole thing. She's looking at everything. She's examining this. She's examining that. Then finally she finishes off, and her conclusion is Shri Krishna, Krishna Saka, Vrishabhani, Vrishna Vishanavu. O Krishna, friend of Arjuna. Her conclusion is, my best way to understand you is through my son. I have some connection with Arjuna, you know? And so that's how I can probably catch you the best like that. You are the master of the Vishnu dynasty. You incarnate whenever these political forces bother each other. This is all within the material world, yeah, pretty much. You know? But it's for us, it's very elevated. You read those prayers, you're right on the edge of liberation. Can she understand Vrindavan? Kunti? Does Kunti understand the pastimes in Vrindavan? She talks about it. She talks about Yashoda, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, she's Kunti. She's in Hastinapur with jewels and servants and golden palaces. Mother Yashoda's in Vrindavan with cow dung patties and this kind of stuff, you know? But what's happening? Everybody is afraid of death personified. Anybody here almost die? Anybody here almost die? Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah? Were you afraid? Yeah. Yeah. Many people say, I'm not afraid of death. Yeah, step outside with me for a couple seconds. Let's go for a little climb on top of Samadhi or something. When it actually comes, oh, yeah. So everybody is afraid of death personified. But death personified is afraid of Krishna. Here's death personified. Here's everybody running down the road. Okay, and here comes death personified chasing them. Yeah. But then death personified is also running. Like that. So, and here comes after him, you know, Krishna chasing death personified. But Krishna is also running. Like that. You say, who's chasing Krishna? Mother Yashoda. This is one Vaishnavi, one tough. See, another thing, we don't say Vaishnavi Yashoda, we say Mother Yashoda. Like that, Mother Yashoda. Okay. So can Kunti understand this? What does she say in her prayers? Can she understand this? She says, no. She says, it's bewildering. It's bewildering. You know. So she's on this level that Krishna is Aishwarya Bhavanat, the master of material powers. First canto is very simple. I would say the highest level of bhava you'll see is Krishna enters Dwarka. And Krishna enters Dwarka, then there's this feeling of the Dwarka bhava, which is like little children and emotions and sentiments and the queens like that and so on, like a temptation, you know. And so it's going higher and higher like that. And here in the 7th canto, we're already up to, I think, Krishna's throat or something. No, his chest. 7, 8, 9, yeah, 9. Something, one of his arms or something like that. We're shaking hands with Krishna and everything else. Is Brihaspati a pure devotee? How's it describe Brihaspati here? Is he Paramatma realized? Is he Bhagavan realized? How's it describing him? So you got to listen during these classes. It describes, huh? Best of the Brahmanas, who's realized Brahman. Prabhupada talks about Sukracharya. Was Sukracharya a pure devotee? No. He was worrying about having to take care of his family, get his daughter married, cursing people, you know, all that stuff, you know. But Prabhupada calls him spiritual master of the demigods, you know. So that's the demons. So he was also appears to be Brahman realized. Brahman realized means that you realize there is a reality. All right? Many people are not convinced there is a reality. It's just this, things may go away at any moment like that. Buddhism, nihilism directly says there is no reality. There is no reality. If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. right? Because Buddha is also an illusion, right? This is pretty paranoid. Yeah, okay. But Shankara came along and said after Buddha and said, no, there is a reality. Oh, wow, okay. What is it? No, we're not going to talk about that. It's like this. Brahma Satya, Jagat Satya, Brahma Satya, Jagat Nitya. Then after that, Madhva came along and started to say, yeah, there is a reality. There's you and me and so many things like that and so on. Yeah. So this is the level we're seeing, that Brihaspati is, a Brahman realized person. Is he more powerful than Indra? Yeah, it says that. What do we have? We have Gandharva Loka, Apsara Loka, Indra Loka. 3 planets above that. You should all take our Bhakti Baba course. Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, then Brahma Loka. So these are very, very powerful personalities, and Brihaspati and people like that. They're more powerful than Indra. Indra is so powerful. You may have a car, maybe like 40 horsepower, right? You have a 40 horsepower car. How many horsepower does Indra's car have? 1,000 horsepower. Right? Yeah, he's a powerful dude like that. Yeah. But Brihaspati and people like that, more powerful. Maharloka, places like that. Okay. So Brihaspati came in. The demigods had just won this big battle against the demons. Indra was being glorified, being delivered peeled grapes and different songs and everything else, And Brihaspati came in. It appears that he didn't even nod at him. He just kind of like saw him there, okay, Guru Dev has come. Who are the 2 most likely people to fall down in this movement? Which category? Prabhupada says the 2 categories of people most likely to fall down in this movement are Pujari and? Yeah, Pujari and personal servant of the spiritual master. Because familiarity breeds contempt. Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing. Even between husband and wife, you start becoming familiar, these things, and okay, the relationship becomes contaminated. Yeah. So this is the problem. They're used to Brihaspati coming every day. We're seeing Gaurnatai, Krishna Balaram, Radhashama Sundar every day. Yeah, we're in Vrindavan every day, right? And we start to lose our respect, our continuous appreciation of where we are. Here we should be in ecstasy every moment, right? If you're in Vrindavan Dham, you should be in ecstasy at every moment. Prabhupada told the devotees, come to Vrindavan, control your senses. If you start to lose your control of your senses, get out, right? Yeah, because all of your desires become fulfilled in Vrindavan Dham. Yeah, and if you haven't got good desires, yes, they also become fulfilled. Anybody have that experience of having Vrindavan Dham? No? Oh my God, yeah. One time I had a bad attitude. I was walking down the road here, and these rocks started attacking me, rickshaws started attacking me. It was like everything was came down on me. And I'm sorry, please forgive me. Okay, fella. Okay. Try Vrindavan Dham. Yeah. So it's a very, very potent place. It's a very potent book like that. We shouldn't take it for granted. The demigods were taking Indra's, Brihaspati's presence for granted. Demigods, what kind of devotees are the demigods? They're pure devotees? Huh? Yeah, Sakam. You have desires. Prabhupada, is Yamaraj? Is Yamaraj a pure devotee? This time around, Prabhupada said, even Yamaraj is after the position. I am the Yamaraj. Yeah. Normally even Yamaraj, but his desire is position, prestige, and so on. Yeah. So this is all the demigods. They're all Sakam devotees like that, So it's not so just surprising. Yeah, the material world introduces all kinds of interesting variety for the animals to deal with. Yeah. So anyway, they're all sitting there, and they're with their material desires, one after another. But Brihaspati is above material desires, right? Yeah, he's on the level of Brahman, like that, so on. And so great opportunity. Keep them in line, keep them happy, and so on. Most incarnations do not give liberation. Think about it. Yeah? They show up, they set things in order for Brahma, for the Devatas, and the Devatas offer their prayers, and they say, thank you for coming, and you can go now. So we can stop offering prayers and get back to our business. Okay, and Varaha goes like that and so on. Yeah. So, but Krishna gives the opportunity not only for liberation, but devotional service. Yeah. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddhachitte Karaje Udaya. Krishna Prema is not something you get from some other source, right? It's a part of our character. It's our natural position. Yeah? And when we engage in hearing and chanting, it wakes up, right? It wakes up. That's our whole process, waking up, right? In stages, and you should see the progress. So the demigods are very opulent, very elevated, very purified. We can achieve the same level of consciousness in ISKCON. You can chant your rounds, you can follow the principles. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna, punya shravana kirtana, hridayanta sto hiyabadrani, vidunoti suetsatam. By chanting Hare Krishna, you become punyatam, punyatma, very pious person. I had one friend, Bill W. And a long time ago, he was in Dallas, and he was alcoholic. He would get some jobs during the week, unloading things, this and that, and little money. But he said most of the time you spent in one bar like that. And of course they had the bar and they had games and stuff, a club. And they would give people in the bar like little snacks to stuff to eat with their alcohol, pretzels. And he said basically that was how he was surviving each week, was eating potato chips and drinking beer, which actually has some nutrition. So, but on the weekends he would go to the ISKCON temple, right? And he was a little pious, right? Agyata Sukriti. He felt guilty about just going for the food, So he would go in time to sit during the kirtan, sit during the lecture, and then he would eat about 5 or 6 plates of prasadam like that, just like that. And he said that's how he was living, So it went on for 1 year. How many Sunday feasts is that? Huh? 52, no, like that. 52 Sunday feasts. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha. Even you don't understand anything, even there's no penetration, if you're here, the Krishna Katha is having an effect. It's blasting away at all this simple reaction in your heart. You only become an alcoholic if you have a really bad, karma and reaction like that going on, very deep. So he was there listening. Not listening, he was sitting there, okay, He told me after 1 year, his mind said to him, Bill, he said, yeah, what do you want? What are they talking about, Bill? So he said, for the first time, he actually tried to listen and he was able to hear. And the first thing he realized was that the devotees were vegetarian. Yeah. 1 year. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world. When you go out on Sankirtan, you meet a lot of different kinds of people. And some of them are in this position. They're so spaced out that they're just, barely existing, So anyway, he said, yeah, that's right. There's been no meat in the food for 1 year. God, these people are weird, Maybe they're all homosexuals too, or communists or something, like that. Vegetarians, What else do they believe? So the second thing he understood, what the devotees believed in reincarnation. Reincarnation. And that was weird. Oh my God, reincarnation. He said, wow, I don't know if I'm going to come back here anymore. Like that. He said, but the food's pretty good. Yeah. And well, maybe there is reincarnation. Okay, maybe I'll come back as a cockroach in the same bar, where I am now, and then I'll get free drinks. I won't have to, buy drinks anymore. So on. Yeah. So this is the process, right? In the beginning, we're becoming pious people. This is the fastest way to become pious, right? To get good benefit, to get your body purified, and so you feel good. Start eating a good diet. And when you die, you go to Agni Loka, you go to different very subtle realms where there's great sense gratification and beautiful relationships and gardens and all these nice things. I've heard Prabhupada said, most of the people I'm initiating are not going to go back to Godhead. They're going to go to Indraloka. Indraloka, yeah. Most people probably initiated haven't followed the process, right? Strictly like that and so on. Okay, even still, thank you. So you go to Indraloka. It's so nice there. The pleasure, the sense gratification in Indraloka is unbelievable compared to the earth planet like that. So are we chanting celestial japa? Are we reading this thing like that? Yeah? Yeah, if you are, you're not going to go back to God. Yeah. Then above that, actually, maybe we get some liberation. But then the question actually starts. Yeah. If we're actually liberated, even sometime, maybe not all the time, then we can actually start to cultivate devotional service. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi! Yeah. Now you can start to cultivate your taste and read certain books and discuss certain pastimes and engage in certain services like that. Okay. You're starting to cultivate transcendental devotional service. Maybe, Raganuga level. Ruchi? Asaktis. Yeah. By this point you're attached. Even if you're being burned alive or being run over by a rickshaw, a motor rickshaw, doesn't matter. At this point, you're attached to your service like that and so on, transcendentally, beyond time. Asaktis, bhava. This is the preliminary stage of prema. Your seed is grown into a little sprout, it's grown into a sapling, it's got leaves, it's got flowers, and now it's produced a little mango, right? It's kind of hard to relish the mango, okay? It's green, but it is a mango, right? Bhava Bhakti, you know your relationship to Krishna. Krishna Surya Sam, Maya Hayandaha Andakar, Yahan Krishna Tahanahi, Maya Adhikar. No possibility of accidental fall down from the level of Bhava. You know your relationship with Krishna, but it's just not mature. So Bhava is the immature stage of prema. So in prema you wake up, right? Yeah. And get back to work, right? Yeah. Are we always improving our service in the spiritual world? Krishna is always expanding, always getting better. So are we. We don't know what limit our service is possible. Krishna doesn't know. Krishna creates all these little toys and everything else for his ideas. Everybody has a different service, and he doesn't know like what we're going to do and what we can accomplish like that. It's interesting, So we have to get back to that level, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is going through 7 cantos. It's taking us to the level of Indraloka. It's very interesting. I had more questions after studying this than I had answers. Okay, Indra apologized, right? And he seems like the prayers are pretty sincere, right? He's saying this and that, So did Brihaspati forgive him? No, he didn't forgive him. So maybe Brihaspati is also a little attached also. We see that with other people too. And after that, he let him get defeated by the demons, and still he didn't come back. So it's very, very many questions like that. Yeah. So when we go ahead, though, the Bhagavatam will take us all the way to Goloka Vrindavan, Ki Jai. And within Goloka Vrindavan, it will take us to the Ras Leela, which is the essence of the whole Bhagavatam. Panchadhyaya Ras Leela, chapters 29 through 34, right? Yeah. And there's the Gopi Gita. There's so many things like that. But we have to become purified. We have to go through Indraloka. We have to go through Brahmaloka. We have to go through Mahavishnu Loka. We have to go through Vaikuntha. We have to go through Ayodhya, right? We have to go through all these things in our consciousness like that. And then actually to go to Goloka, okay, and then we can engage in service there. And from the very beginning, the point is it's not for my enjoyment. It's so easy to enjoy Krishna Balaram temple, right? Isn't it? It's a very enjoyable place. No? It's ugly. And sometimes you sit over there, you look at this with the walls with the sun coming up and the festoons, and it's so beautiful. You look around at you, and it's just such nice people. Yeah. Where else are you going to find people like this? And when the doors open, my God, it's just like like that. Yeah. So it's so easy to enjoy Krishna Balaram Mandir. Are we here to enjoy Krishna Balaram Mandir? What are we here for? serving Krishna and Balaram. Yes, like that. Yeah, Prabhupada sometimes says that. The Brijbasis, they didn't want anything from Krishna. And after he says that, he becomes choked up and can't talk for some time like that and so on. Only serve Krishna. But if it makes Krishna happy to see I'm happy, okay, then I'll be happy. I'll enjoy this because it makes Krishna happy. Yeah, it's very incomprehensible, right? Yeah. It's incomprehensible. So we have to come to that level, free from any selfish desire. Okay, that's the beginning. That's the first qualification. Free from any selfish desire. Then you can start to cultivate different kinds of love of Krishna in different, more and more subtle moods. And who's figured out the highest kind of service? Huh? The gopis and Radharani. Not Chandravali? Chandravali ki jai! Silence. Yeah. But Chandravali and Radha they love each other unbelievably. That's why they fight. They're fighting over how to please Krishna. But they love each other unbelievably. But they're competing on how to serve Krishna and love and stuff like that. Yeah. If Radharani is having some problem expressing her service, Chandravali will come in and give her a kick to do her role like that and so on. Yeah. It's a very unusual place. And so, 10th canto starts to reveal this to some degree. Chaitanya Charitamrita reveals it more. Then after that, we have so many books, Gopala Champu, Ujjvala Nilamani, and so many other books. When we're on that level, it'll be revealed to us what books we should read, things like that. We'll already be Jitatmana Prasantasya Paramatma Samahita, like that. So anyway, that's, kind of a little discussion of what's happening here. And Brahma is telling them, hey, you guys are more powerful than demigods. You've already beaten the dickens out of them 5 or 6 times anyway. So how else is it possible they could defeat you if it wasn't because of your guru aparad? Oh, yeah. So he's trying to wake them up to this simple thing. And this is not even guru on the level of Gopi Baba or Vaikuntha. This is guru on the fact of just maintaining your level of being a religious people for sense gratification. Right? How many people here are engaged in devotional service for sense gratification? Okay. Yeah. And every now and again you think about serving Krishna? Yeah, we want to. Idea is there. Yeah, we would like to do it. So we're heading progressive. So, any questions, comments, complaints, donations? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, you got to talk loud into it.
So we're reading here how King Indra offended Brihaspati. There's one small, 1 or 2 verses. I think a little bit after, a little bit before, where it talks about Brihaspati became lusty and forcibly impregnated the wife of his brother.
Yeah.
And so, it seems like the demigods are supposed to be elevated. It seems like the same things are going on there that are going on here. The
Yep.
difference is, I guess they don't get the same kind of reaction.
Yeah.
And what if you'd like to comment on that?
The question is that later on Brihaspati impregnates the wife of his brother. All these things are going on. Vashishta becomes angry at somebody and curses them. So the Brahmanas also appear to be happening. So are the same things happening there that are happening here? But there's different reaction like that and so on. But it's very interesting, ISKCON. I don't know, did you hear what happened last week in Italy? I was on BNN. You didn't see it. Wow, it was really weird. There's a big temple there, and it was Sunday feast, and very intense program. So big kirtan. Okay, yeah, very big kirtan before the Sunday feast. And temple president there was a really big collector and everything else. And GBC secretary made him temple president and so on. Okay, so he came in and everybody started chanting and offering their respects to him. But they also have a really good Food for Life program there, but it's not very popular because, with the devotees, because you go out and, give food to all the bums and stuff, So the guy who was in charge of the Food for Life program had been doing it all morning by himself, didn't have time to change his clothes. He was trying to get his rounds finished. He was chanting next to the altar, concentrated. He didn't see the temple president come in. So temple president became really upset by this, and right in front of everybody started chastising the guy, so on, So it became a really ugly scene. But even more complicated, though, was that the temple president's daughter, she was a Guru Kuli, she was married to the Food for Life guy. So she started in front of everybody also, defending her husband, people like you, do Sankirtan to fill up your bellies, oh wow, So she ran out crying, and she came back in covered with water, but it wasn't water, it was actually gasoline from the lawnmower. And she set herself on fire right in the Sunday feast. This is not a true story, this is not a true story, this is not a true story. This is from the Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Okay, the temple president is Daksha. The Food for Life guy is Shiva. Okay, the president's daughter is Katyayani. Haribo. But I had this acting background, right? When you put it into modern terms, everybody said, "Yeah, okay, this is ISKCON, man. What's next? She burned herself alive. Okay, and what's next? Yeah. But we don't see it. It's just we are coming to this level, where these things are happening, where Guru Kuli girls are chastising their fathers, and guys are, So I would say the same things were stories we're finding here in different levels. We're finding them right here in ISKCON. Yeah. Okay. That was not a true story. That was not a true story. No, then it goes out, Hanumatpresaka told us about this so-and-so. All right, it's okay. Not a true story. Didn't happen. Yes, okay, yeah.
Good question. You mentioned that gopis, they may end up in Swargaloka or something like that. But can they go back to God from Swargaloka or higher planet systems?
Yeah, so Shuhari's question, as I mentioned, devotees may end up in Swargaloka or Maharloka or something like that. Can you go back home, back to Godhead from there? So maybe there's an ISKCON Indraloka. Like that, end up there. ISKCON Brahma Jyoti, Yeah. Prabhupada says, actually the Bhagavad-Gita, and Prabhupada also says, that sometimes when the Sankirtan parties are coming from the spiritual world to the material world, they go through the Brahma Jyoti, and the yogis that are there hear this, and they're attracted, and then they make progress then from the Brahma Jyoti to Vaikuntha, So at every level, you can make progress in devotional service like that and so on. And depends upon your previous activities, some people approach ISKCON, it's all new. Some people right away, Adoshvada, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Nartanivritti, Nish, yeah, okay, that's what you did your last lifetime. Now you got to start paying. Yeah, okay, final question, yeah.
What is the solution to this familiarity thing? Like we always fall in these situations wherein we are serving very closely devotees or deities, and there is a risk of this familiarity reaching them. So what is the solution? How do we safeguard ourselves?
So I was mentioning, but Prabhupada says the two people most likely to fall down are the pujari and the personal servant of the spiritual master, or a brahmana, a sannyasi. So what is the solution? So Prabhupada says the solution is following all the rules and regulations of the etiquette properly, like that and so on. Yeah. So the deity worship, there's etiquette, and you follow that properly, then that reminds you of who you're dealing with. It was interesting, one time I was at a press conference when Richard Nixon was president of the United States. And many reporters there from big newspapers, and one young journalist was getting kind of aggressive and challenging Richard Nixon. And Nixon kind of paused and looked at him and said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" He said, "I can go in the next room and make one phone call, and in 45 minutes, over 600 million people will be dead." Mr. President. Yeah. So you follow the rules and regulations for the deity worship, but it reminds you, yes, this is Supreme Lord, He's controlling everything, and so on like that. In the same way, Chandika Pandit says, one should not get too close or too far away from three things: a fire, a king, or a brahmana. Prabhupada brahmana. Because if you get too far away, you'll derive no benefit. But if you get too close, you'll get burned. I remember one of my friends, Vishal Das, he was here, and Prabhupada was in anxiety about something. And I think he said something like, "Oh, Prabhupada, just chant Hare Krishna." He said, Prabhupada turned at him, somebody said something like, "What do you know?" or something. He said it was like he couldn't sleep, for 24 hours. It was just like, and that's the last time he ever got familiar with Prabhupada. Prabhupada said the same thing about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and himself also. So that's the whole thing, just maintain the proper etiquette and relationship. The rules and regulations are designed to make us appreciate Krishna's position. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai. Back home, back to God.